Okay, so now we need to start talking a little bit more about the media budget. Okay, budget, it's our favorite one. How much cash have we got? And that can be a simple case of check my pocket through to check my bank account. And we need to know where that is before we start doing things. No point getting halfway through our media plan and then realizing this would be fantastic if only we had more cash. And there's no point also going through and going, oh, that's fantastic, but we've only spent a small portion. Have we lost the whole opportunity here and spent a lot of time not designing something robust enough, and then you're trying to tack stuff on, which never works. All right, we need to really design it with the whole end picture in mind. So the media budget is really going to be getting the message out there is really going to be a great chunk of our whole advertising campaign. Okay, so we need to think about, as the media planner, how am I going to spend this money, and start to think about my cost estimations. Okay, and the vehicles that we're going to use in order to deliver the message. So when I'm evaluating cost, it varies from ad agency to ad agency. All of them tend to use, a weighted or demographic cost per thousand. So, who are you trying to reach, and how much is that going to cost you to do that? All right. But one of the things that we frequently talk about is a CPM. Okay. So really what we're talking about that, people often talk about it as cost per thousand, or, it's just a common term of comparing different costings. Okay. And, amongst vehicles of different circulation. So you know what it's really costing you per 1,000 units. Okay. And a CPM, the CPM is, okay, it's a bit of a, here we go. So the ad cost times 1,000, okay, divide that by the circulation. Okay, and that'll give you the actual cost, CPM of that. So what you do is you can start to compare what's where. Okay, so an example there, so if we've got an industry publication which, puts out a full-size ad, etc., it's got a circulation of, 6,500 people. Okay, so the 6,500 people will read that, read that thing, and they're going to charge us about $2,000 for the ad cost. Okay, we want to take out a full-page magazine in the average user daily, and the average user daily has a readership of 6,500 people. So what we start to work out is we go, let's take 2,000. Okay, and then we're going to start timesing that by 1,000. Okay, so 2,000 by 1,000, so far so good. That's that one. And then we're going to divide that by 6,500. Okay, and what that should give us is about 200,000. Okay, so we could do the math pretty quickly. Ends up as about 300. Okay, you'll do the actual math through the calculator yourself, but that starts to tell me, what the CPM is on that, and then I can actually very quickly do the same math with a bunch of other different publications. How much are they going to charge me for the ad? How many people is it going to reach? And I need to work out where my cost effectiveness is, okay? So that's one of the things we can do there, so we can actually see what the CPM is for different vehicles we might be using. Okay, it is a very common type of term, and if you actually go to buy advertising space in just about any sort of vehicle these days, that you usually find that is a figure that they quote to you straight away. Okay, so it's pretty easy to find out what your ad costs are going to be. Okay, and if you make inquiries to ad space sellers, you'll get similar cost estimations. Right, they will be able to usually provide it to you. They're pretty quick on that. They'll tell you what the size of the ad is, what the readership are, and they'll give you a CPM because they know that they want you to compare it as well. So estimating the cost of different media vehicles is really essential to making sure that you're utilizing your media budget properly. Okay, in other words, what this one really talks to is, my bang for buck. Okay, for every 1,000 people I want to reach, that's really what it's going to end up costing me. Okay, so I need to really think about that carefully across my range of media vehicles. All right, so when we talk about media vehicle options, we'll start to go into that a little bit. We'll start to think about what the different vehicles are, and then you can start to compare what it's going to be costing you to get across each one of them to get in front of your target market, all right? But CPM, as I say, you'll start to see it there. All the advertisers have got it. It's a figure that's thrown around all the time. The higher it is, obviously, the higher it's costing you to get in front of those people, all right? Cool.